Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the reading of the White Album 2 novel Twinkle Snow, Dream. So, Twinkle Snow, this was a bonus novel given out at one of the White Album 2 events. And at this event, this was called Last Stage 2. This was when some of the voice actors and actresses got together. They did some song performances, they did radio show performance, and pretty much just talked about the game to fans. It was a big fan event in 2011. And one of the biggest things that came out of this event was this novel written by Fumiaki Moruto-san. He was the writer from White Album 2. So this is an English translation of that novel. Let's go ahead and jump right in to the prologue. Listen, Tolma, I've liked you ever since I first met you. What do I care about your feelings? The only feelings I trust are my own. I love you. Such a simple introduction, such a simple prologue, but what's nice about that is it really sums up their feelings that were extended at the end of the introductory chapter. Unfortunately, the timing of them were horrid. So after the prologue, then we jump into a slightly different time skip. And this one is between Setsuna and Kazusa. So this is Twinkle Snow, Dream, Chapter 1. You don't have to grip it that hard, just pull it towards you like this. It was December. The leaves had finally vanished from all the street-side trees, and in their place, an enormous tree had suddenly sprung up in front of the station. A tree signifying a particular day, all asserting the winter season. Oh, you're supposed to hold the sprouts there, not right by the knife. What do you mean, there? The school festival, the final glimmer of their school life, had ended. And now that they were third years, they had no choice but to think on the 4 gray months that remained to them. Ah, you sliced that one a bit too thick. There won't be as much to eat. Although, considering most of the students already knew where they were going, a strong point, or perhaps a weak point of having a high school already attached to a university, the grayness was really less than half. And when this was happening during the introductory chapter, during the final part of it, it breezed through it very, very quickly. The time skips during this time were some of the biggest in the introductory chapter. And so getting a little bit into more detail what happened directly after the school festival is pretty interesting. And within that, if you took out the strong ones and losers who had been referred to other universities, and those who had found employment already, the number remaining was in the hundreds. All right, we'll stop there. Whew. So we've got 5 potatoes left, 2 carrots, and for those in that chosen minority, these days were fierce, desperate. How am I supposed to peel something this tiny? Wait, no, you can't just stop in the middle, Kazusa. Days of battle. Supposedly. Until 30 minutes ago. God, cooking is boring. We've only just started. They're so cute, and they're very opposite. Setsuna's the type to be humming and singing along while she's cooking, having a good time to herself. And Kazusa's the type to just want to microwave a Hot Pocket or something. She does not want to cook. The name of the young lady with long, lustrous black hair, relaxing in a kitchen chair, having just given up on the task of peeling potatoes after a single attempt, was Kazusa Toma. Hojo High School, Class 3E. Her habit of dozing off at the edge of the classroom, never standing out, may have been her downfall. Now, she boasted extremely bleak circumstances, with 3 months left before graduation and no settled path or prospects. That's Kazusa for you. That's the one everyone loves. I kid, though. She is amazing. It's just really funny how unamazing she kind of is, if you think about it. I wasn't made for delicate work like this. It's not my calling. Don't talk like that. You're a pianist. That's the most delicate work there is. She's so kind. And the name of the young lady with moderately long hair gathered into 2 pigtails, who had been tapping rhythmically with her own carving knife while still managing to give a proper follow-up to everything Kazusa said, was Setsuna Ogiso. Hojo High School, Class 3A. She had put a suitable amount of effort into maintaining the sweet image that had always led everyone to look on her with admiration, whether she liked it or not. Now she contented herself with her promising future, having easily secured a recommendation to Hojo University. Exactly, I'm a pianist. What happens if I cut my finger on one of these things? But you were the one who brought it up. You were worried you might end up a woman who couldn't even make a curry. And then you're the one who decided we actually needed to make it. I thought we were here to study for exams. Well, someone came and clung to me desperately. Yet again, it was December. And see, this is a very... Okay, actually, this is a both of them like thing to do. Complain about something, but then not fix it. Kazusa complains about not being able to cook, but then doesn't want to cook. Setsuna later on complains about not being close to Haruki, but then she doesn't get close to Haruki. They're both kind of hypocritical. Exams started tomorrow, which meant their school days ought to be growing more and more hurried, in a certain unpleasant way. And yet, for some reason, those who had gathered at the Ogiso family home for the sake of helping the lazy pianist and her dicey graduation prospects were now working diligently at preparing dinner in the kitchen. Except for one. Hey, are you sure you don't need my help? Back off. Go back to studying in the bedroom by yourself. Remind me again who this study party was for in the first place. The name of the young man, with nothing of particular note about his hair. He's such a normie. Who now poked his head out of the hallway, seemingly at loose ends, was Haruki Kitahara. He is such a typical dating sim protagonist. Nothing special about him, but his name is Haruki, is pretty much what they said. Anyway, you can just leave the dinner prep to us. To us. I see. If all 3 of us do it, it'll go faster. We need to eat quickly so we can get back to studying. You haven't even finished the first subject yet. Hojo High School, Class 3E. With his strict, unswayable policy of helping others and his preachy personality on top of it, he had provided direction to a number of school organizations, both from the inside and from the outside. Now he had fallen into a rosy future, having been guaranteed not only a recommendation to Hojo University, but also the formal address at their graduation. He's the lucky student that gets to make a speech on graduation day, which I'm sure he loves because Haruki loves doing speeches to people. Shut up. If we did let you help, you just stand there nitpicking every damn thing. I know you've never done any cooking either. Maybe, but peeling potatoes is something anyone can do. Oh, he's always making her so mad. Oh, yes, if you've got the patience. Setsuna, if there's something you're trying to say, keep your mouth shut. Kazusa, unable to continue blatantly slacking off now that Haruki had entered the scene, reluctantly stood next to Setsuna again and picked up a carrot, which seemed like it should be easier to peel. Anyway, don't you dare tell him what I said earlier. Under which pretense, she now muttered right into Setsuna's ear. What you said earlier? You know, the bit about being a woman who couldn't even make a curry. The part where you can't make a curry? Or the part where you were worried to death that he would hate you because of it? The second one. Got it. You're scarier than you look. She just yells it out loud. That's so bad. She definitely did it on purpose. Setsuna loves teasing people. She doesn't do it in an obvious way, like Kazusa or Haruki would, but she definitely loves teasing people. To reiterate, it was December. Almost 2 weeks had passed since Haruki and Kazusa became boyfriend and girlfriend. Oh, that's so crazy. It's an alternate reality because obviously this didn't happen in the introductory chapter. This is a huge, big what if story. And that's what I love about it because it shows what might have happened had that confession not gone that way, had Setsuna not rushed things, or had Kazusa gone up first and taken control and admitted her feelings. So here we go. 2 weeks ago, the school festival concert ended a massive success. The praise and encores for Setsuna, who had displayed not only her expected loveliness, but also an entirely unexpected singing ability, were unending. The admiration for Kazusa, who supported everything perfectly from off to the side, handling keyboards, saxophone, and bass, was generous as well. And Haruki, the guitarist who did all he could within his scope, received his own share of applause. They praised Setsuna and Kazusa so much, and then they were like, yeah, Haruki did the best he could. He gets nothing. Is it so? How is it? How? Well, it's jab curry. You know, it's hard to tell whether you're doing it on purpose or whether you're just like that, but God, you're brutal. The taste, Haruki-kun, give us your thoughts. Well, as the catch copy says, it's got a hard-hitting bitterness and a deep, robust flavor. Oh, screw this. I shouldn't have tried to feed someone who refuses to acknowledge other people's effort. Kazusa, Haruki-kun, come on. I like it. I always have, ever since I started liking bitter stuff in middle school. What? Is there enough for seconds? It tastes good, okay? As good as it always does. What a weird conversation. That's actually pretty offensive. If you like a food, just say that you like it. If you don't like a food, just say what you don't like about it. This stupid runaround, like the teasing meanness, is not cool when someone's really trying to impress you like that. 2 hours after those 15 amazing minutes, in the Twilight Music Room number 2, which had served as their changing room, the two backing band members who had put everything into lifting up their singing idol confirmed their feelings for one another. It's so crazy. It's so different. More, please. What? Wait, Setsuna? More, please, Kazusa. Yeah, okay. I'll go get some more. Make sure to really heap it on. I know. Which was why the female member of the backing band now reacted with such nervousness to the curt, slightly unkind words of praise from the male member of the backing band. I mean, to be fair, Kuz has always been kind of nervous around Haruki, but especially after he started opening up more to her, she's more nervous than ever. What's so funny? Didn't you see how many expressions Kazusa went through just now? Which was why the idol now failed to hold her laughter back as she watched the overreaction of the female member of the backing band, practically bouncing out of the room with curry dish in hand. Aww. I hate when they use these overly long descriptors of a person. The female member of the backing band. Just say Kazusa. Like, please, stop with the long descriptions. Once in a while is fine. Not too many. Did I screw something up? You might have been just a little tactless. All you had to do was take one bite and say, oh, this is good. But using store-bought roux? No, you know what, you're right. I'm sorry. Though it did mean I got to see Kazusa on the verge of tears, so it's all A-okay where I'm concerned. You really are scarier than you look. Oh, that's not nice. Out of context and not knowing Setsuna, it just sounds like she's a really mean person. That is really mean. And so, even though the concert had ended, the three of them never truly left the stage, carrying on those dreamlike hours. The two lovebirds and the Cupid who brought them together. The three of them. 2 hours later. No, look, I did say that it tasted good. Yes, because Jab curry is good. It tastes the same regardless of who makes it. After dinner, the night wore on in chit-chat under the excuse of taking a break, completely ignoring Haruki's attempts to get the study party back on track. I had 3 helpings and everything. You seemed pretty happy. Yeah, you threw me off pretty good. Turns out I'm cheap enough now that even completely insincere crap like that gets me all fluttery. Oh, so cute. And so, having had no real accomplishments on the studying front, but more than enough to make up for it on the nourishment front. I guess nutrition and nourishment are similar enough. They departed the Ogiso household, bearing mandarins as their spoils of war. Seriously, you don't have to snap like that. It made me really glad. Oh, of course. Doesn't matter how it's made, it's still that store-bought flavor you love. It's because it tasted like Mom's cooking to me. Huh? Beneath the wintry sky, the topic finally returned to Haruki's reaction as he ate the curry earlier. Dang, that took a turn to the dark. Haruki reminiscing about his home life there. Also, though, it is a very good excuse for his meanness earlier. She would make a ton of it in a pot at the beginning of the month. I'd heat it up and eat it later. The side dishes all set out on the table were always ready-made, but Mom made the curry herself, however it turned out. Well, though she did use store-bought roux. We never ate together, morning, noon, or night. But I was always just a little bit happier on the days that our kitchen smelled like curry. Haruki stared up at the sky. The stars looked as though they could turn to ice and start pouring down at any moment. His breaths turned white and floated upward, covering over the myriad stars like clouds. His face showed happiness and fond familiarity, to be sure, but also the slightest hint of desolation. And it's good that he's sharing this with Kazusa because, as we know, Setsuna has a very, very different home life than the two of them. And if he had shared this with her, I don't think she would understand it on as deep a level as Kazusa does. She might have sympathized, or she might have just kind of teased him about it, but Kazusa recognizes the pain there. Which is sad, but I guess it's good if you want to understand the person who you're dating. So today, I really did... You were trying to distract me again just now, just throwing out a bunch of lazy excuses. You could tell? But the fact that the whole thing was just for show didn't get past Kazusa, who had already taken the girlfriend brand. Even though it had only been 2 weeks. I mean, yeah, he's definitely using it as an excuse, but I do think it was true. You're using all that lame nostalgia stuff to run away. Cut it out. My mother never made me so much as a piece of toast. Yeah, that does sound like Yoko Toma. I've told you before, the fact that your past is so boring is a good thing. Mostly. Well, in that case, what? Maybe I'll make you some curry next time? Huh? So when Haruki made this offer, Kazusa raised her eyebrows, seemingly suspicious that this, too, might be for show. Oh, but that's adorable, and she would love it. Kazusa needs a man that cooks. That's one of her requirements. She might not say it as a requirement, but it is one of the requirements she would need. Or... I guess hire a home cook, but that would be a big waste of money, as Haruki would put it. As thanks for today, once all the tests are over. What are you... I might not be able to mix a lot of the spices together, but Maybe I'll do some messing around with the ingredients and try for a seafood curry. I'd rather have pudding than curry. But the delay in her grand response when she did accept the offer already flagged her for the loser. Rather have pudding than curry. You cannot subsist on only pudding. That is very unhealthy. Can I use a pudding mix? The kind where you just add milk and chill it until it's firmed up? Only if you make 3 packets worth. I want a full bowl. It'll lose its shape if I do that. I don't care. I'll just eat it right out of the bowl with a spoon. I almost don't want to ask this, but are you planning on eating the whole thing in one sitting? Well, you ate 3 helpings of curry today. It's basically the same amount. Yeah, but there's a big difference between 3 servings of meat, vegetables, and roux on rice and 3 servings of pudding, which is just sugar and milk. The nutritional balance is completely different. It's almost entirely sugar and butter fat. Okay, well, that was pretty close. And so, beneath the wintry sky, the 2 of them walked on through the silent residential area, pondering the pudding to come as their reward in a few days, with an energy that might be considered a nuisance to the neighborhood. It's nice to see them happy, though. 35 minutes after that, it was 15 minutes on foot from the Ogiso residence to Suetsugu Station, then 10 minutes to Iwazu Station by train, and then a further 10 minutes walk. At some point, as they walked through the neighborhood, keeping the long, white wall to their left, the words they exchanged lessened considerably. Because this white wall surrounded the mansion of a certain world-famous pianist. In other words, once they turned left at the next street corner. What? Oh, no, sorry. Only a few more steps and they would no longer have a reason to keep walking together. Oh, that's sad, but that's adorable, the fact that they're walking a little bit slower to maximize their time together. With a deeply sorry look on his face, the boy began to wrap his free hand, the one not carrying a bag of mandarins, around the girl's free hand, the one not carrying a bag of mandarins. I love that description. Why now? The eyes of the girl, Kazusa, upturned and slightly reproachful, wavered and shone by the faint streak of the lamplight, the street lamps. Her gaze and words were difficult to interpret. She could have been admonishing Haruki for this sudden burst of initiative, or she could have been demanding to know why he had waited this long to do it. I mean, kind of both, I guess, but she wanted it. You don't want this? No, I don't. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I don't want you to think I'm gross. Huh? Oh no, that's such a sad reason. Oh my gosh. During this short exchange, their hands repeatedly touched and parted, let go, and took hold again. The hands aren't like most girls' hands. My fingers are harder and rougher than yours, or most guys for that matter. Attacking, retreating, hesitating, vacillating. And it's true, because musicians, of course, have the calluses all over their fingers, and with how much Kazusa practiced, I mean, her fingers must just be like hard as rock across her fingertips. But, as we know, Haruki wouldn't care about that. Like, that is the least of his concern. In his opinion, that's impressive, because what Haruki really admires in a person is hard work. And that's just proof of their hard work. I would never think that was gross. But, I mean, they're my teacher's hands. That's so cute. That's so cute. It sounds a little bit weird in English, though. In Japanese, it sounds a lot less odd, because calling people your teacher in Japanese is a lot more common, even if it's just someone showing you how to do something. Whereas in English, it just sounds like someone in a classroom. And the boy finally mustered up all the courage he had and cut off his path of retreat. Finally, he entwined his own fingers around the girl's fingers, which were just as rough as she said they were. I told you, I love this proof of your hard work. I love your piano playing. They really were hard. He doesn't hate them, but he's not disagreeing that they're hard. She might have slacked off continuously in the 2 years since she entered the high school, but she had been tempered so thoroughly in her childhood that hardness was preserved the whole time. No, maybe she only claimed to be slacking off, but could never really stay away from the piano. And these fingers were filled with stubbornness and pride. Why are you getting all mushy? It's not like you. That's just embarrassing. Who cares? We're alone. Put yourself in my place, okay? I'm already about to freeze as it is, and now I have to listen to these lame lines. Then I'll warm you up, like this. Hey. The mandarin bags slipped out of their grips, and now they clasped together their newly free hands as well. Oh, it's so cute. Their entire hands were tightly entwined, not just their palms, but their fingers too. They faced each other, not walking, casting aside all their excuses. You're the one who said you wanted to do this, okay? Yes. All of this is what you wanted. Yes. So, I'm not going to let you go, okay? Yeah. You better keep hanging on until I say let go. I won't let go, Kazusa. Haruki. Oh, you better be good to her, Haruki. Please be good to her. Please don't let her go. Please don't let this turn into another Setsuna. 2 weeks had passed since they started dating. 2 weeks since they began calling each other by their first names. Oh, because that represents how close you are to another person in Japanese. But why are you still looking at me like that? Kazusa Toma was the same dour-looking girl she always had been. You look like you're gonna cry. Oh, she probably will. However, these were not the eyes of a lone wolf, rejecting everything as she had before. More like those of a stray dog that had just been fed, just tasted the forbidden fruit for the first time in its life. Because, as we know, Kazusa has this innate fear of abandonment. And having a boyfriend now, someone who she really, really cares about, that fear is going to remain in her. We're dating, you know? We're flirting right now. Why does everything you say have to be so lame? Because I just want you to laugh a little bit. This is all on me. But when I might lose you, when we might separate, when I might wake up from this dream. Thinking about all that stuff, all the goddamn time. That's all on me. Kazusa Toma was no longer aloof. You won't go anywhere, will you, Haruki? But she was just as cowardly as she'd ever been. You won't just disappear like Mom? Oh, that line is so sad. She was hesitant to like anyone this way. Betrayal was all she could imagine. She was a girl who had only just learned to love someone, and all her reactions were extreme. Well, will you close your eyes? Okay. Why are you shutting them that tight? Because you're gonna do it, right? Yeah, I am. Then hurry up, get it over with. Why do you have to talk like that? It ruins the mood. Look, I'm embarrassed, okay? Oh, she's embarrassed, but she's not saying no. That's adorable. But little by little, the littlest bit by the littlest bit, she was regaining her honest self. She was still in that transitional stage. You know, I like it when your voice breaks like that. Stupid. A mere 20 steps remained until the entrance to the Toma house. Kazusa knew that she would warm up far more quickly if she simply went straight inside. But she couldn't move now. Not until her master's magic spell, Wait, wore off. And I love this too, because of course in the game's canon introductory chapter, the relationship between Haruki and Kazusa skyrocketed. It went so fast because it was forbidden, because Haruki was already dating Setsuna. It wasn't like they timidly had a first kiss and then they timidly held hands and they timidly became boyfriend-girlfriend. It was like 1 to 100. Here, we can slowly enter the relationship, which, mentally, way better for Kazusa. Way, way, way healthier for her. I'm very happy for them. So, we will stop off there for today. Thank you so much for joining me on this first chapter of our side story, Twinkle Snow, and I'll be back with the next chapter shortly. So until then, hope you take care. See you.